Let's get into it. You're about to hear Tucker Carlson and Jimmy Dore go in on Jon Stewart. I did not know about this egregious thing that Jon Stewart did, but apparently he honored a Ukrainian Nazi. But that's not all that Tucker Carlson and Jimmy Dore are focusing on. Okay, there's other things as well, and I'm going to let them explain those things. And then we got Joe Rogan and the boys talking about the situation of Jon Stewart honoring a Ukrainian Nazi. Jon Stewart has gone the way of Canada and has decided to give a medal to a Nazi. But it's not just him. The Pentagon also had something to do with this. Apparently, they flew in a bunch of these gentlemen who were part of a battalion that I guess they didn't know were a neo-Nazi battalion. So we're going to get into that. Don't forget about IamCoachColin.com. We got Sold Not For Sale. We got Public Enemy #1. And we have so much more. Check the site out. Discount code is IamCoachColin. All capital letters, all one word. 1 L in the name Colin. Let's get to this first clip.
We don't know shit.
A lot of Nazis out there.
How could
too.
you know?
A lot of white
I think
supremacists.
we should be trying to know.
Who's the one guy that had a Nazi tattoo and he had his sleeve covered when he received an award?
Zelensky.
No.
Sorry.
He's the guy who played the piano with his dick.
What?
Yeah.
I don't know this guy.
No.
Zelensky.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was Zelensky?
Yeah, when he was a comic.
Yeah.
Wait,
He did all the
really?
single ladies dancing.
Zelensky was a comic, and he played the piano with his dick.
He was a
What?
pianist.
What was the other guy I was asking about? What was the other guy I was asking
Guy with
about?
the swastika.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
some guy. See if you can find that. So some guy received some award.
In a cupboard?
It was like I want to say like an actor gave it to him. I forget who gave it to him.
Was it
But
Adolf
when he's
Hitler for
receiving his
killing most
award,
Jews?
When he received his award, he had a.
This year, the winner of this year's Killing Most Jews Award.
No surprise here, everybody. A landslide repeat from 1943.
What did they name it before him?
Stonk.
I guess so.
The award
It
was
was the
something they gave him
Pogrom
at
Awards
the
came
beginning,
around.
of the invasion, where everybody was on Ukraine's side.
Hey, Stewart.
Ukrainian Nazis were invited to Disney World by the Pentagon.
Oh,
Stewart was the Ukrainian
2022 DoD Warrior Games.
What the
Liberal
fuck?
comedian Jon Stewart even honored a former hardcore Azov militant for his personal example.
What the
I mean,
hell?
there's a lot more they're not sharing to the story.
But this is the
What
guy.
the
So
fuck?
that guy has this
that elbow?
tattoo on his elbow,
Oh.
and so he had it covered when he was receiving his award.
That's not a
Yeah,
swastika
apparently.
tattoo. That's a dream catcher.
You don't see too many Nazis
He's
with
just
fucking
like
stuffed animals.
he's a hippie.
Yeah.
True. That's pretty fun.
It's cute.
That's a whole.
It's
What
a
is-
He's holding
he's a
fucking
hippie.
Mickey Mouse.
That's made
This
by Walt
guy's
Disney.
great.
Is it kind
Balances
of
it out. It's
anti-Semite.
ironic. How do we know that's not photoshopped? How do we know that's not photoshopped?
Because there's no Mickey Mouse.
That would be a good way if I was a conspiracy theorist.
There you go.
I would say I'd like to
Photoshop that on
see
there.
the original photo, please.
Oh, hey guys.
Because that's a little convenient. This guy's got teddy bears, and also he's a
Yep.
Nazi.
One of those two are photoshopped in.
Something's wrong.
Interesting.
Something's wrong.
Isn't it funny? We sided with the Russians
See,
to defeat
you guys
the
got his
Nazis.
arm
Now we're
covered.
siding with the Nazis to defeat the Russians.
Interesting.
So when he receives his award, he's got his
cast.
left arm covered.
Oh,
Is that a cast?
Fox
Looks
News
like
is all
cast.
over it.
Yeah, it does look like a cast.
Somebody tried to
So
break
that's
his arm
his
because they
arm.
thought it was a Nazi thing, and it wasn't.
It might be he's just like really into designs.
It looks bionic.
It is Arabic
You know,
originally.
yeah,
That sucks
the
dick for Jon
swastika.
Stewart.
I went to this Indian
idea.
temple.
Yeah.
There's an Indian temple in Woodland Hills, and it has like
Backwards.
backwards swastikas all over the place.
I don't
Oh,
buy that
wow.
that thing's a swastika. If that guy's really a swastika guy, he's just fucking making a swastika. What's that fucking high-tech design he has? That's
What
not a
is that?
swastika. That's not a Nazi
He
thing.
covered over it.
What do you think
Yeah.
that? Yeah, what is that?
That's a misinterpretation of what the first thing
Maybe
is.
he's just worried about the interpretation of it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, maybe, because it's like, just get a swastika. What
But
No, I
those
think it's a
guys,
symbol.
those
Yeah, that, sure, get
Azov
that.
guys,
what he got
Yeah,
was like
Rockefeller
electric,
Center.
that guy.
No, the Azov battalions.
Rockefeller Center.
Yeah, they had to they ended up covering it up eventually.
Look at that.
Found on piping and valves during construction
What
project
the
at the state
It's
capitol.
the opposite way, right?
What
Why
year
are
was
you-
that?
Why are you confused by that? They bought piping from
I
Nazi
didn't know
Germany.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were making steel.
Well, that's why they're confused.
It's
by
like
it.
the BMW.
Before they did all the bad things,
Interesting.
they were making some cool shit.
I was
Yeah, Mercedes.
So just to touch on what they're talking about right there, they found certain symbols on the piping in a Rockefeller Center. So that's interesting. Now, let's also just talk about, I'm just going to go to the next clip with Jimmy and Tucker right now. Let's talk about Ari Shafir. Very surprising that he's a man who's lived in Israel, stayed in kibbutz, was very religious, and doesn't know about these symbols that these neo-Nazis wear. Now, I guess if you were Jewish, you wouldn't really look into that too deeply. You would know the main one, and that you just keep it at that. But the symbol that that gentleman had on his arm is actually called the Black Sun. And that's actually what a lot of neo-Nazis and neo-fascists tend to use as a symbol. So they use the primary one that we all know. They use the black sun. They use certain things like lightning bolts. There's also an N with a, I think it's a lightning bolt or some kind of symbol like that. So there's many different symbols that they use. So just so you know, Ari Shaffir is wrong, and that photo is not Photoshopped. This is a very fact-checked and widely known story. So let's get into Jimmy Dore and Tucker Carlson. You know, you don't see Tucker Carlson go in on people all that often, but Jimmy Dore was bold enough to play a clip from years ago between Tucker Carlson and Jon Stewart. And Jon Stewart is kind of giving it to Tucker Carlson in his younger days. So very bold of Jimmy to play this clip and then, you know, kind of ask Tucker about it. But it just, I thought it was going one way, and then they just both kind of just gang up on this guy. Listen to this.
This is of Jon Stewart when he came on your Crossfire show on CNN. I'm going to show he's here giving you a dressing down. But that was back when you were in the employ of the problem rather than the solution. And Jon Stewart was, as of yet, relatively uncorrupted by the gaping maw that eats every other political voice in the network structure and shits out a yes man on the other end. So let's watch this real briefly.
You have a responsibility to the public discourse, and you fail miserably.
I think
you need to go to one. The thing that I want to say is, when you have people on for just knee-jerk reactionary talk.
Wait, I thought you were going to be funny. Come on, be funny.
No, I'm not going to be your monkey. What? I watch your show every day, and it kills me.
I can tell you love it.
It's so painful to watch. You know, because we need what you do. This is such a great opportunity you have here to actually get politicians off of their marketing and strategy. Yeah, it's someone who watches your show and cannot take it anymore. I just can't.
What's it like to have dinner with you? It must be excruciating. Do you like lecture people like this? Or do you come over to their house and sit and lecture them? And, you know, they're not doing the right thing. They're missing their opportunities, evading their responsibilities.
If I think they are.
Look, I wouldn't want to eat with you, man. That's horrible.
I know, and you won't. But the thing I want to get to.
We did promise naked pictures this week. Yeah, we did. Let's get to those.
Why can't we just talk? Please, I beg of you guys.
I think you watch too much Crossfire. We're going to take a quick break.
No.
Look, hold on. We've got commercials.
Please.
Next, Jon Stewart in the rapid fire.
Please
Hopefully
stop.
he'll be here. We hope.
So that was, go ahead, Kurt.
Do you know what I realized what John was arguing against? Because I remember when that came out. What he's arguing against is like, no, it's not productive because you guys aren't like, you shouldn't be arguing at all. We should all just be united saying the handed propaganda without even the illusion of an argument.
That's right. So what happened to you? You went from there. You made atonement for the Iraq war, and then they took your advertisers away, and you started to tell the truth about everything. The Syrian war, Ukraine war, COVID, vaccines, everything. You started to be the only person in news to tell the truth about the biggest stories of our time. And Jon Stewart went on to hang a medal on a Nazi at Disney World in service of the war machine. And he'll never apologize for it, and he'll never even acknowledge that he did it. Just go, hey, I got tricked. Or something. So he won't even say that because he won't tell people the truth about the Ukraine war, because for a second he told the people the truth about where the COVID virus came from, which was a lab in Wuhan. He told the truth on Stephen Colbert's show, and then he was ostracized from polite society for over a year, and it damaged him. It damaged him so much that he was willing to hang a medal on a Nazi at Disney World.
The guy covered it up though. He didn't know to laugh
there
at
it is.
See, put a red thing on it.
And then he had to go give a tongue bath to two of the most bloodthirsty warmongers in the history of our country, Hillary Clinton and Condi Rice. And then when he did cover COVID and the vaccine, he didn't bring on Dr. Robert Malone or McCullough or Pierre Corey or anybody who had a counter narrative to the establishment lies. He brought on 3 liars for the establishment and pretended like he was so he did propaganda for big pharma and the establishment, not only for wars, he's doing it currently, and he's not only put for vaccines but for COVID, for everything. And meanwhile, there you are going to visit Julian Assange at Belmarsh, and here you are bringing on RFK Jr. to tell the truth about big pharma. So what a complete different arc between Jon Stewart and you. He became a yes man to the establishment who's lying to his lying to his audience and afraid to tell the truth. He'll never tell his audience the truth about Ukraine. He'll never tell his audience the truth about COVID or lockdowns he'll never do that. And he'll never tell where's he on the front lines trying to get Julian Assange out of prison? I don't know. Is he? I don't think so. So I just want to get your reaction to that kind of crazy arc that Jon Stewart had this pompous moral high ground when he came on CNN, and now he's turned into the piece of shit that I make fun of and debunk on a daily basis.
He should wear a bow tie.
So I always thought, well, let me just say it's interesting. I hadn't seen that clip, well, since it happened, because I never watched clips of myself. So it's been almost 20 years. I should say when that aired, I'd already come out and atoned for supporting the Iraq war. And he had a different view. He's always been a neocon, like always. He's never changed. He's been consistent on that, I will say. but he looks a little less appealing than I thought. I mean, he was a preachy little phony, really, from the very beginning. He has talent. I always thought he was pretty funny, actually. He's pretty, I mean, I'm sure you guys know him well.
You got a lot of
He's
talent.
fast. So there's that. Yeah, he does. He has talent, for sure. But he was always hollow inside, didn't really believe anything. His beliefs actually just amounted to self-hatred and guilt. That's not a belief system. Those aren't principles. Those are impulses. And so I'm not really surprised that he has become, another Praetorian Guard for the establishment, because that's kind of what he's always been in a way. Like he would do the sort of normal shit they do, like, they love the race stuff. You're a racist. So-and-so's a race. Everything's about race. It's just not that interesting a topic. In my opinion, I've never been very interested in race. It doesn't go anywhere, but he's obsessed with that topic. And in some ways, in retrospect, that's the easiest topic. Everyone's like, oh, it's the hardest topic. No, it's the easiest topic. Because you don't have a conversation. It's just posturing. Nothing ever changes. No one's life is improved. No one actually gets better. No one's improved at all. But the person doing the hectoring gets to feel superior. And that's kind of been his bread and butter for the 25 years. I knew him when he came on. I mean, I'd known him for a while. So for the 25 years I've known him, that's been the sum total of his moral universe. Like, you're a racist, I'm not. And so it's really not surprising that he's wound up sucking up to Condi Rice or, Hillary Clinton or some other totally indefensible warmonger creep. I'm not surprised at all.
You don't think it's useful for him to ask the former first lady such hard-hitting questions like, what's it like to be a powerful woman? You don't think that's
But again, so we're getting back to the race and gender thing. And like, race and gender are real, and there are differences between the races and the genders or whatever, but they're not actually that. It's not that, first of all, it's not that interesting. It's not the most important thing, and it doesn't go anywhere. But that's always where they go. All of these people, they did it with me for years. Once they couldn't cancel my show by pulling the advertising, then I became a white supremacist and a Nazi and a racist. And at some point, I remember thinking to myself in the shower, I don't know, am I a racist? Like, no, I'm not actually. And then I just kind of didn't care after that. But they didn't stop, because that's sort of all they had. They didn't want to actually debate whether the Syrian gas attacks came from Assad or whether they even existed. They did not want to have that conversation. They didn't want to talk about anything of substance at all. They just want to dismiss you as crazy or a bigot. And that's the world that Stewart has lived in for the decades I've known him, I will say.
I think his next big move has got to be that he actually becomes a powerful woman. There just aren't any more chess moves left on the board. Am I right?
I'll honor it.
That's so good.
Man, Jimmy Dore, Tucker Carlson go right in on Jon Stewart. I didn't even see that coming. I was watching this interview because it's a good, almost 2 hours. And I was like, I didn't see that coming at all. I didn't know that Jimmy Dore had that type of pent-up rage towards Jon Stewart. And I didn't think Tucker Carlson would actually speak on Jon Stewart like that. Because, he's had a little bit of a back and forth with Ben Shapiro. And he could have, Ben Shapiro called him dumb. He said he's not on his side. He kind of alluded to him being anti-Semitic. So these are pretty big things to do. And Tucker Carlson was kind of pretty gentlemanlike and just kind of said, this person doesn't really care about America. And he kind of left it at that. And I thought that was very nice. But he didn't give that same nicety to Jon Stewart at all. And also, could you imagine, in that clip that we watched, imagine someone comes onto your show and they start telling you about the opportunity you have and how you should be doing. Listen, I know maybe there's not many content creators watching, but I know that you have a thing that you do. And if someone stepped in and started saying that you should actually do it this way and you have such an opportunity and I'm so tired of the way you do it, you'd be like, what the get out of my face. I've had people do it with this show just to try to randomly be like, you need to do it like this. Stop talking. I'm like, okay, leave. Just leave. Click off the screen. It's so weird to have somebody do that. Because back in the day, when we were all watching Jon Stewart do things like that, we all thought it was very heroic. But hearing Tucker Carlson talk about it, it's very true. It's very empty. You're going on this show and being like, you have such an opportunity. Please do this better. And it's just like, I don't know. That's not that term that so many people use, calling truth to power. That's not what that is. Why don't you go to politicians and say that? Or even today, because I could right now do that to Jon Stewart. And be like, I saw the new YouTube channel you have. I saw the new show you have. Please, you have such an opportunity. You have such an opportunity to do this better. You should be having two people on. There should be different viewpoints. And, You shouldn't do things for the establishment. Please, please, you have such a legacy. You need to do things better. I'm so tired of seeing you do things the way you do them. Because that interview that they brought up, where he said he brought on 3 liars, I watched a lot of that. And I, because I like different viewpoints. I may not bring them up all the time, and I may not take them in at all, but I do like to listen to them. Because you'll learn, even if you disagree with somebody and you hate them, if you listen to them talk for an hour, you'll learn something. You'll take something in. So I try to do that. And I did that with a few of his episodes and interviews that he's done. And he is going the way of Howard Stern, in the sense of, and I didn't realize this until Jimmy brought it up, he did do what he did on the Colbert Show. And it was really risky for him to do, for him to be speaking about a lab leak, and he's swearing on the Corbell show. I don't even know what this Corbell. What is his name? Ever since when I lose respect for somebody, I don't care how their names are pronounced. Stephen Colbert. Ever since he was on that show, he was swearing, he was interrupting Stephen, he wouldn't let him talk, he got out his bid, he did everything. I saw it on the JRE, because I do not watch late night television. That is not a thing I do anymore. And it was commendable what he did. Really commendable. But he did get ostracized. He did all of a sudden get nobody wanted to talk to him. Nobody wanted to touch him. And I guess that got to him. That's why I say the way of Howard Stern. It's not just that he went woke, because that's the similarities that you could say there. But Howard Stern for so long took so many shots at the establishment, at everybody in Hollywood for so long, that eventually, as he got older and he wasn't getting along with the young people anymore who were doing it, because he's not one of those people anymore, he had to look around and say, wow, these are actually my peers. I'm so famous that I can't go around acting like I'm sticking it to the man. I'm older than the man now. The man's passed away, and I'm kind of like in his shoes, like. So I have to now, all of a sudden, become friends with these same people that I would usually go at in my younger days. And Jon Stewart kind of realized that same thing. You realize, oh, I actually have to play ball. I want to make money. My show, Apple owns my show. Maybe that won't happen anymore if I keep doing stuff like this. I don't have what Jimmy Dore has, where I can just be like, or Tucker Carlson, and I can just say screw it and just have my show on YouTube and X. He doesn't have it like that anymore, He doesn't have those those things. But yeah, very interesting to see. Very interesting to see. Very good to hear. Again, I bring it up. This is the second episode I'm bringing it up. I'm praying, Jimmy, if you see this, please don't reschedule. Please, I'll bring you medicine if you're feeling sick again. He rescheduled once. He was good enough to reach out to me. I didn't even have to hound him. He reached out to me again, and I'm supposed to be doing an interview with him. I got my questions ready, and just, praying that we get to do that, because it would be an honor, because I have a lot of questions to ask him, and I hope I get to learn something. Even if I have 30 minutes, I'll try and make the best of it. So yeah, very, very, very cool clip there. Very great interview. It is Tucker Carlson and Jimmy Dore. You can find it on the Jimmy Dore channel. Great channel. Jimmy Dore just surpassed 1 million subscribers on YouTube. Great accomplishment. And yeah, I can't wait to talk to him. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Other than that, I'm out. Share the video. It helps tremendously. Share, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And other than that, I'm out.